All right, the Cleveland Cavaliers defeat the Indiana Pacers 127-117. Kwab, let's go to the box score, baby. Donovan Mitchell, 35 points, 9 rebounds. Darius Garland, 24 points, had a hell of a fourth quarter, 7 assists. Evan Mobley with a hell of a third quarter, 22 points and 13 rebounds. Siakam played well, 23 points. Mathurin got ejected because he just wanted to fight referees, and Miles Turner had 17 points. Good win for the Cavs. I think the main storyline of this game was, hey, let's go zone, and the Pacers being like, hey, I don't know what to do with this. And by the time they kind of figured it out, it was a little too late. The Cavs had built out a double-digit lead, and they just did not have enough firepower to come back. They toyed with that zone in their first quarter, too, which was interesting because it wasn't like they just broke it out in the second half and then, out of nowhere, and it was surprising. Like, they went back and forth in the first quarter, second quarter with the zone as well. But Kenny Atkinson made that decision to pretty much make it a permanent thing. And that's how the Pacers just kind of lost themselves on offense there. It's interesting because they did score 117 points, but I do think this game was won on the defensive end, and Kenny Atkinson's decision to make that switch. The Pacers did not have Tyrese Halliburton. Cavs fans, you guys get on us sometimes when we mention things like this, but the fact of the matter is the Pacers didn't have their best player.
It's just a fact.
And it changes the dynamic of the game.
It doesn't change anything. It's just what it was just what happened.
This is what it is.
We're just saying what happened.
Right. And even before they went zone, you would see, and I don't think Nembhard played bad at all. I think he had a decent game, but you had the Pacers guards basically not picking him up until, just below the 3-point line. They were able to pack the paint. There was no really threats from the outside unless the Pacers were able to drive and kick. And I thought Nembhard played well. It wasn't that I thought he played bad. I just think that there's a difference when you have a point guard who you don't have to necessarily quote-unquote respect from three, and you can kind of sag back a little bit on defense. And the Pacers, for what it was worth, I thought they had a pretty decent offensive game up until the Cavs went zone. But it was just a different team. I thought the Pacers played well. I thought the Cavs played really well, especially offensively, man. I mean, Donovan Mitchell in the first half, Evan Mobley in the third quarter, Darius Garland in the fourth quarter. It was just like, pick your poison. They all took over at different points of the game. Just an unbelievable effort. They always make the right pass. I mean, there were like 2 shots I could think of off the top of my head where I was like, I don't know if I like that shot. The rest of everything else was like, great shot, driving kick, beautiful offense, great in transition. Just a good overall win for Cleveland against a team that they lost to not too long ago.
Yeah. To add to make some more points about the Cavs, Max Strus off the bench had 13 points. Still coming back from injury, but shooting 4 for 7 again. Like that's a big get to have somebody come off the bench and be a reliable scorer and shooter. And they have a couple of those players. Had him, Karis LeVert also off the bench, had some nice moments. Jared Allen throughout the whole course of the game. I know he only had 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, but like he made an impact throughout the whole game. He didn't have like a quarter moment like the rest of the starters did.
But that's not his game.
That's not his game.
Yo, give the ball to Jared. Let him go ISO.
Let Jared go to work, baby. Let Jared go to work. No, I mean let Jared go to. But he had a great all around game as always. To the Pacers side, Siakam in the first half very aggressive. Like you said, 23 points. I actually I wanted to see how Nembhard played the whole game just because looking at before this game I was looking at a little bit at Pacers Twitter, and there was a lot of like positive I guess reactions about how well Andrew Nembhard has been playing. A lot of people say he should be in the conversation for to be on a defensive team, and I thought the pressure they were applying throughout the first half, like, was making a difference. Even when, especially when T.J. McConnell came off the bench, that's when they like made that little run going into the half, and the Pacers were not going away. It was a competitive game, but like I said, when the Cavs decided to go full on zone, it just kind of threw them off, and it always baffles me at times when I'm like, NBA teams a lot of times get thrown off by zone. It happens. It happens a lot.
Yeah, because you can't just take your man off the dribble because like there's always going to be somebody there. Also, like the shot that was available for the Pacers today was like that midi, like 12 to 14. Yeah. But you're not shooting it in rhythm. You're kind of like getting the ball, turning. Oh, I'm open. Oh okay. It's like not in rhythm. It's an awkward shot. It's a very difficult thing to get used to. The way to beat the zone, in my opinion, is driving, kicking. for three.
Yeah.
And Thomas Bryant had 2 threes, which is a weird thing to say out loud, but he had 2 threes against the
He's a
zone.
shooter.
Yeah, and I think that's the way the Pacers should have attacked it. I think they got the ball in the middle and they settled for the jump shots, and instead they should have attacked the rim and forced one of the corners to kind of collapse on them, and then you kick it.
Yeah.
But that they didn't go that way. And honestly, those shots are not bad shots. I mean, Siakam missed a couple. Those are shots that they can hit. So I understand why they took them.
It's always weird to me, and I've had this discussion with like coaches and like scouts or whatever. I'm like, it's always weird to me seeing like the best players in the game see a zone, and then you're like, what?
What I do?
But this wasn't the case for the Pacers. I'm not saying this would happen with the Pacers, but like I've seen other teams where it's just like, what are we gonna? And I get it. It's like you don't practice that offense. It's not what your sets are. So and a good coach, a good defensive coach will throw that in there, kind of throw the team off, and it works. It works. Another player I was watching on the Pacers was Jarris Walker, their second-year player, just to see how another play. Like he's had a couple of great games. Also, I think he played really well the last time they played the Cavs, and I just want to see like how he looked. And he hit a couple of shots. Like it's good that he's getting more consistent playing time this year. Like it looks like with I guess a lot of the injuries they've had, he's getting more of an opportunity. But if the Pacers play with this type of, I guess, defensive impact, like they have a chance. I think to start off the season, we were kind of like, when we were talking about, we kind of had the Pacers kind of not high up in the East, but still like one of the better teams in the East. And
Playoff team for
really
sure,
slow.
but I don't think I had him as a contender. I mean,
Yeah.
the reality of the situation is, and Pacer fans are going to hate me for saying this, they might get past the Bucks if the Bucks are healthy. They're not getting past the Knicks. You're not getting past the Knicks if OG doesn't go down, if Josh Hart doesn't go down.
No bias, right? No bias.
It's not, they're up to, bro. Like, listen,
No bias.
I'm not getting this conversation with you. I'm not. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. And listen, they played the games and the Pacers won, so credit to them. Like, I'm not trying to take it away from them. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have me rank teams again going into this year, I'm not putting the Pacers over a team that would have beat them healthy. I'm just not. And you could ask Buck fans. Maybe Buck fans feel the same way. If we had our team, if Giannis and Dame were healthy the whole time, we would have won also.
Sure.
So it just is what it is.
It is what
but
it
the
is.
Pacers, I mean, again, like I said this, I don't know if it was in the power rankings or when we talked about it on the full episode. Everyone looked at them last year as this horrible defensive team, but they kind of flipped the script a little bit because they do have good defensive players. It's not like their roster's void of defensive players. They have good defensive players. And this idea that Carlisle has kind of implemented, like, we're just going to freaking press you full court like it's a CYO basketball game, it has kind of worked for them. And it has become a little bit of their defensive identity. And I fucks with it, man. I mean, that's how they beat Cleveland the first time last week. Cleveland couldn't solve that in the third quarter of last week's game or a couple days ago, whatever it was. So I'm with it, man. And, again, Cavs fans don't get mad, but not to – if I'm a Pacer fan, hey, we played the best team in the league pretty tight without our best player, without Tyrese Halliburton, without an all-star point guard. So overall, I thought it was a good game. Exactly what you want to see from the Cavs if you're a Cavs fan. You bounce back, you win on defense, and offensively, again, just a machine. Just a machine.
Machine, yeah. Hopefully Darius Garland is not. I was worried that he was injured when he went down, and like it didn't look the case during the fourth
he
quarter.
comes back and has a great fourth quarter.
So I was like, okay, cool.
He's
perfect.
fine.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's fine.
They have the Thunder coming up, which again should be a premier game. The NBA should make sure to highlight that because that should be a big game. Excited about that. What are you expecting that game from the Cavs?
From the Cavs, I mean, just the same thing. Kenny Atkinson offensively has just completely transformed this team. I'm expecting Mobley and Jared Allen to find a way to have a huge imprint on the game because Isaiah Hartenstein's the only big man that OKC really has, and they didn't have any answers for the short roll and the pick and roll. They didn't have any answers for both of them. And then Mobley's somebody who can take you on the outside and bring Isaiah outside of the basket, so you don't have any rim protection. To me, if I'm Kenny Atkinson, if I'm a Cavs fan, I can pretty much be confident going to that game. Like, okay, our bigs can win us this game. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for.
Similar. I'm similar in that way. I also want to see how the Thunder adjust when like when Isaiah's not in the game, just because, like you said, the size problem, because Chet's not back yet. So they Thunder are comfortable playing small ball or small-ish ball because their forwards they have long arms and wingspan, so they can stretch out. But I think Caruso is back, so that should help alleviate some of the question marks that we've had, like how they look with Caruso back and Chet back. So that's one question mark that's answered. So that should be cool. What do you envision from the Pacers moving forward?
Bro, same thing. I think
Yeah.
they keep this defensive identity. You have the players to do so. As long as Halliburton's healthy, man, because that hamstring is like, ever since he had that injury, he's kind of been inconsistent as a player.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, if he's right, and you're getting a Tyrese Halliburton that's giving you 20 plus and 10 assists, again, like this is a team that could sneak up on anybody in the East outside of maybe the Cavs and Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make an argument in my eyes. You can make an argument. Hey, listen, Cavs, Celtics, Pacers. Right now, because the Knicks aren't looking too good. Like I'm not going to go through the whole Eastern Conference. I'm not going through that.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
The third spot in the East is up for grabs, in my opinion.
Cool. I mean, and they've been able to beat the Cavs, so I mean they're and the Celtics actually, so they're pretty confident as a team and like playing anybody. So I mean, Pacers fans, you should be happy with your team, like you said, as long as Hallie is healthy. I think it wasn't his hamstring this time. They said I think it was his groin.
I thought it was his hamstring. No.
No,
Okay.
they said it was his groin, so which is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's like they were like happy about it. So that's
his hamstring. Okay, my bad.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. Look, I wish Halliburton played this game because I don't know if not for the fact that it would have made the difference. I'm not saying that, Cavs fans, just because I just want players healthy. I just want to see the.
We picked this game because of the Pacers on a hot streak, and because we think the Pacers can be a formidable opponent. And so it's kind of like we want to highlight this game, and then you turn on the TV, and it's like, damn, like we're not going to get the best game possible.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying.
Yeah, we wanted to watch a revenge game. It's just a nice active revenge game. But it was still a fun game and a good game to watch. Good win by the Cavs.
All right, so that's going to do it for our recap. The Cavs beat the Pacers 127-117. We're going to do a recap of Rockets Nuggets tomorrow, Cavs Thunder on Thursday, and then we'll go from there. Our new power rankings are out. We apologize to all the Rockets fans. We've got the Wizards game wrong.
We're sorry. We mess up. Players mess up sometimes.
I read it wrong. I'm sorry, guys.
Players mess up sometimes, man. Players mess up sometimes. It's okay. We're not come on. We're not perfect. We don't have a stat team. It's just us. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get stuff wrong. It's okay, man. It's okay.
We're human. We're
human. There's an edit. There's an edit.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Relax.
Also, let us know what games you want us to recap. We generally try to do like marquee games. Like today was Pacers, Cavs. Those are two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Tomorrow we have the Nuggets and Rockets. Those are two of the best teams in the Western Conference. We do not care about media market. I'm a Knicks fan, but there is no... And he's a Net fan. There's no big like New York bias here. We literally have done one Net game, and I do Knicks games because
we're not doing it again.
Yeah, we should do it again. I think we should do Knicks Nets every single time. But yeah, I mean, we got to get to do a Laker game. We've done like one. I did one Laker game. I think it was by myself.
I wasn't watching that.
Yeah, so my point is just let us know what you want us to recap, and if it's a big enough game, like we're not gonna do. No offense, we're not gonna do like Hornets Hawks or something like that. We're just not gonna.
Yes,
do it.
we will. We'll do Hornets Hawks. That's a Hawks.
I'm not doing Hornets Hawks.
Yes, we will. Yes, we actually that might be the next
If
game.
someone comments do Hornets Hawks on the bottom right here in this video, and it gets like 50 likes, we'll do Hornets Hawks.
Please comment that so we can do Hornets Hawks. Please. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll catch you next time for another episode of Dime. Peace.